Hello, hello, hello. I love that music. I just love that music. It gets me pumped up, gets me ready.
Oh, it's
Hello,
good.
hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Business Plugs Mixer. Hi, my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug. And today I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce you to my guest. But before we go there, I want to tell you a couple of things. If you want to be on the Business Plugs Mixer, the link is in this video wherever you're watching it. Go ahead and subscribe and like the place where you found this video so you'll know when we're on and you won't miss a thing. The second thing I want to tell you about is October 6th. October 6th is First Fridays are back. And so we're having a business meetup. Okay, location to be determined, but you can get it in person or virtual. And so I haven't selected the place yet because you hear that COVID is back out and about. And those of you who know my story know COVID and I are not good friends. And so therefore, I am delaying the location until I get the go ahead that is safe for us to meet up in person. But you can go ahead and reserve your ticket. It is an Eventbrite experience. And so you can click to get that ticket as well. Now, with all the housekeeping stuff done, welcome, welcome, welcome to my guest. Welcome, Ariana Walker. Hey, Ariana, how are
Hi.
you?
Hi, Linda. I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me here. How are you doing?
All is well today. Today is a good day. Today is a great
Amen.
day. And
Yes.
so tell them about Ariana.
Oh my, that is a very big question. But just simply to start. So, hi everybody. I'm Oriana Walker, and I am the founder of my company, my coaching company, Dream Big Create LLC, and I am a career clarity coach and a leadership development coach.
I love that. I love that. And so I want to talk about getting clarity because one of your specialties is
Yes.
clarity. One of your
Yes, ma'am.
specialties is helping people find out about themselves.
Yep.
And so first let's talk about why this business, why you and this business.
Okay. So, why this business? I think I settled into the career space because ideally I want to help people to find their purpose and their passion. And I want them to live in that space because that is how they can find more meaning and fulfillment in life, right?
Mhm.
But when you start talking about purpose and passion, it can feel very ambiguous. It's like, oh, this is this big thing, my purpose, my passion. So if you think about it more in the space of what do you spend most of your time doing, that's our career. So
Right?
if you can, right? So if you start there, it's like, all right, let's figure out what we like to do, what we are good at, what we're passionate about, and you combine that with your career in the sense that you can get paid to do this thing that you're passionate, that you love, that you're good at. Now we're moving. Now we're
Yeah.
moving towards purpose. Now we're moving towards helping other people. Now we're moving towards feeling fulfilled and joy. And so I settled in the career space with my coaching.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And because a lot of times, okay, so last week I had an experience, right? So I went to this fast food place
Uh-huh.
and they didn't, okay, so you drive it to the fast food place and then the order, you order and then you go around and you pay for it, you get your order, whatever. So
Uh-huh.
I sat there at the mic where to get the order, to give them my order, and they never came. And I'm talking about 5-10 minutes passed, right?
Okay.
When you're waiting, that can seem like a long, long time
Absolutely.
when you're waiting.
Absolutely. And you're hungry?
And
You're hungry.
you're hungry, right? And so
Yeah.
I drive around to the window, and the girl, she's like, "Well, you just have to wait. You're rushing." I mean, she's just, "Ugh."
Wow.
And I thought, okay, sweetheart, let me bless you today.
Mm,
I don't want a thing. I
right.
am not going to add to the frustration you evidently already have
Okay.
because to me, that was not an appropriate response. But
Mm-hmm.
so many times, and I'm sure you have witnessed it yourself, we're in the wrong job for who we are.
Yes. Very much so.
And
Very much so.
so, because I know that when you drive up to the drive through little kiosk thing, that it tells the people inside that you're out there.
Yes, that makes sense.
And so I know that they knew I was there,
Huh?
even though they didn't respond, even though they
Yeah.
didn't say
Right.
anything, they knew I had been sitting out there.
Yeah.
And her response was, "We got all these orders before you got here. We're trying to get these orders out." And
Mhm.
that's true. There are people parked on the side, right? But
Mhm.
a slight, we are running slow. Please bear with us, or it
Right. There's
was
a
not
more
my
professional.
fault. Right.
Yeah. Right.
But again, it's because a lot of times people will put applications in places they don't want to work.
Absolutely.
And then they get mad at the job. Like
Yes.
it's the job's fault.
Yeah.
But it's
No.
not.
No. No. You're 100% right. I find there's a lot of reasons why people end up in jobs that they are not. What's the nicest way to say it? A job that's not best in alignment with who they are
All
and
right.
their skill set and their personality, right? But what I find is there's lots of reasons for it. And one of them can be simply just opportunity.
Mhm.
Like this, you need a job, the job is here, right? You have bills to pay, you need a job, the job is here. You don't have time to sift and sort to figure out what's best for you. But the problem with that is that people stay, I think, too long in these positions that are not in alignment. I
Mm.
absolutely understand you need to get in and do something. But
Yeah.
once you're in there, now you have a moment, well, ideally, to figure out, all right, what else can I do? What's the next best thing for me? But people get stuck, what I call on the hamster wheel, and you're just there. And you're there at a job, you're doing a job, you're getting a paycheck, and you're not trying to find that thing for you. And let's be clear, I'm not throwing shade on anybody because I did that for about 19 years.
Hey,
So
hey,
understand,
hey.
I'm
When
not throwing
you have
shade at
kids,
anybody.
no, and it's not it's about
Right?
shade. It's not about throwing shade, but it's again giving clarity to
Right.
people who may not have really thought about it or thought it
Right.
through. Because
Right.
when you're in it, because I had small kids, right? I was a single parent, small
Yeah.
kid. And
Right.
so I started working at 14.
Mhm.
And so I've been working a long time,
I started at 15,
you know?
so I'm with you. Yeah.
So, but in my day, you put in like I didn't know what skill sets I had at that
Yep.
age. And so I put in a plethora of applications,
Mhm.
and whoever called, that's where I went,
Yep.
whether it was aligned with who I was or not. If
Yep.
it had an opening and it was paying money,
Yep.
I showed up.
I know. I
But in
believe you.
doing, yeah, but in doing that, I've worked in several various. I've been a welder, I've been a maid, I've been a bartender, a fast order cook. Like I worked at a hospital. I've worked at corporate America. I
Yep.
worked in a garage at midnight. I've always worked, but I've worked in various positions, not
Yeah.
really thinking about applying only where I wanted to work.
Mhm. Yeah.
I only apply at the places that were having an opening.
Yeah.
And that
No.
was the opportunity, like you said, the opportunities was my driver. If they were
Yeah.
hiring and I was in need, then that's where
Yep.
I applied.
And that's how it is for most people. And I think that's why this thing that I'm doing in terms of helping people to find clarity, like you said, what I find is that people take a job for opportunity, for need, and then they get caught and they don't have a second to step back and really, they know they're not happy, but they don't know what to do. They
Yeah,
don't know where to go. They don't know what the next right step is. And on top of that, they're scared. So
yeah,
you're scared to lose what you have in this hand, and you don't even know what direction to move forward with on this hand. So what happens? Nothing happens, and you
stuck.
stay there, right? So this is what I help my clients with. I help them to figure out, what are you good at? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Because it's also good to know what you're not good at, right? What are your skills? And then on top of that, what do you enjoy doing? What do people come to you for? What would you do if no one paid you? If you
Mhm.
had all the money in the world, what would you spend your time doing, right? These are the questions that I begin to ask people to get them thinking about, well, excuse me, I'm really good at writing, or I'm really good at cooking, or I'm really good with words, or I'm really good at listening to people, or I put things together with my hands. Okay, so then we'll start there, and then we can combine that with, well, how can you possibly get paid to do this thing that you love,
Uh,
right? And then we take some
That's a
time
sweet
and
spot to be in.
that is exactly the term, the sweet spot. And when you find the sweet spot and you're doing this thing you love to do, that you're passionate about, that you're good at, that's helping people, you're being of service, it doesn't feel like work. And that's how it's supposed to be. And
Absolutely.
people, you know what I mean? And people are not, we're not used to that feeling. I wasn't used to that feeling. Like I said, I spent 19 years in corporate America in the legal field, and I was good at what I did. I got paid a good amount of money to do what I did. So it was easy for me to stay because I was making money. But there wasn't any joy in it. For
Mm,
me, I want to live a life of service. I want to help people. And that wasn't what I was doing. And it also wasn't even what my degree was in. My degree is in psychology. And I
mm,
certainly wasn't helping.
mm,
And so it took a while for me to, realize this is not what I'm here for. This is
mm.
not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I need to step out and figure out what that thing is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
the thing is a lot of times people don't even think or don't even know. They're like, well, they had an opening, I had a need, I need to pay my bills. And then
Hmm.
they get in it, just like you said, and they don't think about it. Because I had a lot of young people. So I worked at one position 26 years, and I had
Mm,
a lot of young people that would come to me long before career path was a catchphrase, right? I was helping them plan out a career phase. What a career plan. What do you want to do?
right.
Like, what do you want to do in your life, and who do you want to be when you grow up? Like,
Hmm.
understanding who you are, getting
Yeah.
clarity on the you,
Yes.
is a rewarding thing, but it's an intentional thing too. Because then, when I'm talking to my resume clients, I'm saying, don't apply where you don't want to work.
You would think that that would be something straightforward, but people, they don't look at it like that. They're looking at this is a good job.
It
It's a
pays money.
it pays good money. I need this money to do XYZ. And they're looking at the money. And believe me, I get it. We all have bills to pay. Some of us have kids to feed, families to support, all the things. But you have to look at it too. Once you get in it, it's hard to kind of get out of it. So you want to
Yeah.
make sure that something you're getting into is something you can feel good about or something you can grow in and not just something you're taking because it's in front of you, you know?
Right. Yeah,
I,
because a lot of times, and how that shows up is you begrudgingly do the job, right?
yeah,
And so
yep,
you yell at the customers,
right,
you yell at the customers, your quality of work is less than it should be.
yep,
And then you go to social media. I hate this job,
uh-huh. I
but you
hate the job.
apply for the job. It's not the job.
No,
It's not the job. It's not that you're in somebody else's job.
you're right
And
about
somebody
that.
could get in that position and be very happy,
Absolutely.
but you're in it. So you're blocking someone who could be having the time of their life doing what you're doing because you're mismatched. It's a poor
Yeah,
job match, and you haven't thought it through about where you need to be, and you become disgruntled and
no,
become inappreciative of
yeah,
having the job.
right,
And then
right.
it's the
No,
job, and then it's the manager, and it's the people that I work with, and it's all these
coworkers, yes, yes, and you hate coworkers, and everybody's terrible, and this is the thing, it's always everybody else.
uh
This is what I tell my clients. We got to take accountability and responsibility for our actions and our lives. We have got to stop saying it's everybody else when we're unhappy and own up to the choices that we're making that's
absolutely.
putting us in this position to be unhappy. People don't like to do it, and I get it. But when you put the power outside of you, you're no longer in control. So
Yeah.
who's running the show? Who's driving the car? Who's leading this life? Not you. This is a problem.
That's a problem. Let's start there. That's a problem. That's a problem. If you are not taking control of your own life, that's
Yeah,
an issue. That's a big issue.
it is.
And
It
so
is.
that's the thing is the part about taking back your power and learning about yourself. And
Yes.
just because that's the best place for your best friend, it may not be a good fit for you.
No, no,
So you have
exactly.
to, yeah, so you have to find where your youth flourishes, where it blooms,
Yeah.
and then work in that space. You may not be a customer service person.
No,
because
No.
that takes a very, 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 very definite skill set.
Yes.
You have to
And
first
it's
like people. If you know you don't like people,
that ain't the job for you. Listen, I give so much credit to customer service people who deal with multiple people on a day. That is not the job for everybody. It's not the job for me. But like you said, it is the job for some people who are just naturally people.
yeah,
People. They love people, like a people person, right? They love
right.
having the conversation. They love meeting new people. They love helping people with their problem. Okay, but it's not for
It's
everybody.
not for everyone. And the thing about it is, I was over a customer service department, and it was a poor match for a lot of people simply
Hmm.
because that wasn't I I used to listen. At one point I was managing, and I sat outside of this customer service unit, and
Uh-huh.
I heard a young lady take a helium balloon
Uh-huh.
and suck the air off of it and then answer the phone. And we're
But
in corporate America. And I'm like,
what? Yeah. Listen, you know, yeah, pretty much. The people
you're like,
we we need to find where we fit. Now, I understand it's not easy. And the other thing that this makes me think of is when speaking to the younger population, right? The people who are in college or just
mhm,
graduating or just starting their careers. The other thing I realize is that our parents have dreams and
mm,
goals and
mm,
visions for us, right? My
yeah,
mother knew I was going to be a doctor. I was
mm,
good at school. I was top of my class, all the things, right? So she's like, "You going to school? You're going to Columbia. You're going to go and be pre med." So I'm like, "I'm gonna go to Columbia. I'm gonna be pre med." So I go to Columbia. I start taking calculus and chemistry and biology, and I'm in these classes, and I'm like, "This ain't it." I was looking around and the people were taking notes, and I was living in my TA's office. Me and my TA, the teaching assistant, we were best friends because I wasn't trying to fail. And I'm like, I'm smart. I know I'm smart. Why is this so hard for me? And I had to really be like, I had to come to myself and be like, this is not the path for me. My mother has this dream for me and she wants me to be a doctor because of all the reasons she has, but that's not the path for me. It doesn't make me happy. And so, to the young people who are listening, you have to, no matter what the path is, your parent or your grandparent or your guardian has for you, you have to be able to know, is that the thing for me? Because this is your life. They've lived their lives. And we have
absolutely.
to respectfully be able to say, and I had to have Ma, I said, "Ma, I love you. I appreciate everything you've done for me, but I have to tell you, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm going to be something phenomenal, but it's not going to be a doctor."
Yeah,
And she said, "Okay, all right." And then we think that when we tell them this, it's going to be the end of the world. But sometimes it's just having a difficult
it's just a
conversation.
difficult conversation, and
Yeah,
and difficult conversations. Those are the ones that bind the relationship, right? Those are the ones that
yes,
that smooth and it's not as traumatic as you think.
no, yes,
Most times it's not. And
it's
so,
not.
yeah, every parent, especially if they're a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or any
Right.
profession, they're thinking, my kid's going to grow up to be just like me because that's the ultimate compliment, right? That your
Yeah,
child grow up to be just like you. But
right.
but in all actuality, that may not be the case. Like my dad was a truck driver and
Hmm.
he wanted my brothers to be truck drivers.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, I'm gonna work in this foundry. I'm gonna go here and work in this foundry. I'm gonna go over here. But I got rest his soul. My oldest brother was a truck driver,
Okay.
and I have a niece that's a bus driver, and then my nephew, he's driving truck.
Right.
And they love it. I mean, they love the
Right.
jobs they're doing because it's suited for them.
Mhm.
But then the bulk of us are doing something else
Right.
and are just
Right.
as happy.
Right. And that's the thing. This is the thing that people need to realize. I tell my clients, when you find that thing that you're good at, that you love to do, and you're helping people, the money will come. Everybody focuses on the money first. And believe me, I get it. It's not lost on me that we live in an expensive country and rent is out of price and it costs this much money to go to the grocery store and going out to eat. I get it. But what I find is that when you find that thing, the money just comes. It does,
Absolutely.
because your energy is different. You're helping people, you're serving, you're providing value. And wherever you provide value, it's going to come back around.
That right
It's
there.
a universal law. It's going to come back around to you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that's the thing is understanding. And a lot of times, if nobody has those conversations with you, you go
Yeah.
through your entire life being disgruntled employee. You know,
Yeah.
and I like to free. I like to free people. I'm like Harriet Tubman. I like to help them know you
Yes.
can be free. Because I
Yes.
remember my son, the first time he went, when Walmart opened in the beginning, they would hire retirees, right? These elderly people. And those
Uh-huh.
were greeters. They hired them as greeters, and they were at
Uh-huh.
the door and they'd be like, "Welcome to Walmart." And there were no seats for them to sit down. And some of those people were really up in age, right?
Yeah.
And so my son was in Norfolk, Virginia, I think it was, or Hampton, Virginia. And he was like, "Ma, they have these elderly people as greeters in these Walmarts, and they don't have a place for them to sit down, and they
Right.
barely able to stand up. And Ma, it just looks so pitiful. I feel so sad for them." And I said, "But son, they applied for that. Like they completed the application knowing that that was the job."
Yeah, that
And he's
part.
like, "Oh,
Oh, that's their choice, right? I
yeah."
know. I know.
Because I want to tell these disgruntled customer service people, you're free to leave. You don't have to be here.
I
Whoever's
know.
holding, look, blink your eyes if you're being held captive, because
Yeah.
you're not captive. You can leave. Like if you need me to help rescue you,
Listen,
let me know.
you know though, what I will say, what you're funny. What I will say, what holds people in these positions that's not for them, the majority of it is fear. It
Mm,
is. It's fear. And
wow.
let me tell you, that fear, it is scary. It's like a vice grip. The fear, it is tangible. When you don't know your next move, when you don't know what you're gonna do, you don't know if you maybe you think you're good at something, but you don't know if you're gonna be good at
Mm,
it. That perfection, that idea that we have to know or we have to be good at it will keep you stuck, instead of the idea that, for me, it's about little steps. You take
mm,
one step, you figure something out, right? You take one step, either it works for you or it doesn't. But if it
mm,
doesn't, learn from it, and then you take another step. And I think so many people are scared of they're scared of making the wrong move, but they don't realize. And what I tell my clients is, even the wrong move, it's not wrong. It's only wrong if you think it's wrong. But if
mm,
you can look at it and say, all right, this is not exactly what I wanted to be doing. It didn't turn out how I thought, but what can I learn from it?
mm-hmm.
How can I make my next move a better move?
Absolutely.
And this is the journey. It's not you go from A to Z. It is A to B to C. Maybe you go from C to H. Maybe you make the right move and then you move up a little bit faster, but it's still a journey. And I
Yeah.
find that so many people are just scared to make the wrong move, that they don't make any move.
Yeah.
No action is the worst move you could ever make. And that's
Yeah.
just
'Cause that's still a move, right? That's still a decision. That's
the
still a
choosing.
decision. Absolutely. And I think it's the devil that they know is worse than the devil they don't.
Yes. And I
And
get it. I get it. But, and I know we talked about this a little before, but that's when, you have to sit in faith a little bit, right? Because faith it's a big thing. When you take a move, you got to trust that you're going to be supported in
mm-hmm,
this move,
mm-hmm,
right? And it's okay. And that's why, in the position I am now as a coach, I get to help people and support them, because people need that. I needed that.
yeah.
I wouldn't be where I was if I hadn't had coaching and therapy and a few other things. But
Okay.
listen, I'm gonna speak on it because it's true. A lot of people put stigma to therapy or certain things, but it's like, no, life happens to people, and you got to get your mind right.
I know.
After, listen, things happen.
Absolutely. And in this life, I was talking to a cousin earlier today, and I was like, people, you can go any part of your body that's not functioning as it should.
Right.
We're quick to go to the doctor about it. We,
Exactly.
we go for our heart, our head, our heart, our skin, our leg, our knees, our whatever. We'll
Right.
go. But when it comes to our brain and it comes to processing life,
Yes.
processing our own lives, right? When it
Right.
comes to how we react to life,
Right.
it's some stigma if you decide, oh, I should need to go and talk to a professional. And that's
Right.
exactly what I told her. She was like, well, I feel like I'm stuck. She recently went through a death, and I was telling her, go get
So,
professional help. Go get
right.
professional help, because I went through 5 people dying in a year's time, and I
I'm
couldn't
so
figure it out. I was like, okay, something's not right, but I don't know. I don't hurt. It's just
right.
something's not right. And I
Right.
went to a therapist, and she was like, honey, any one of those would have been enough, but you've went
Right.
through 5. And so you need to think about how you're processing that, because your body's in shock.
Right. Right. You're right.
And we don't take the time
No.
to do it. I believe in Jesus and therapy. I do.
Amen. 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 Same here. You know what I find? I feel like I hate to put just the term society, but let's, for lack of something else, society makes us feel like our feelings and our emotions are not important. That it's only about action and doing and getting things done, and we need to get things done despite our emotions and despite how we feel about them. But the bottom line is, God, we were created with emotions for a reason. The emotions are our guidance system to let us know when things are not right, right? We have nerves in our fingers, in our body, in our skin. You touch a hot stove, you say, ow, you, that thing, that right, that sensitivity tells me, that's not a good thing. It's the same thing with your emotions. If you
Exactly.
feel sad, if you are unclear, if you are not motivated, if you are angry all the time, this is an indicator that something deeper is going on, and you need to get in there and figure out what that
Figure it
is.
out.
But society likes to make it seem like, oh no, your emotions are not, and particularly for men. I have to be very honest, particularly because they like to say women are overly emotional, but for men, men can't even speak on their emotions because now you're not manly, you're not masculine, you're not.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're
That's
not
not
talking about your feelings. Don't We're not
right.
talking about your
Right.
emotions. Take your
Right.
emotions out of it. And
How can you take your
I
emotions out of
can't.
it?
I'm a woman.
They're a part of us in the same way we have skin and we have bones and we have a brain. We have emotions. You know what I mean? And so I love to speak very frankly about therapy and the fact that, yes, I went through trauma in my life and I knew I was not okay. And I knew that I wasn't any good to be dealing with any other humans until I figured myself out. And
I
I
get it.
and I did that, and it was wonderful, and that helped me in some capacity. And then the coaching helped me to think forward, because for me, therapy is dealing with the stuff that's
What's
going on
already
and
there.
resolving, right?
Absolutely.
But coaching, now we're talking about, all right, so where you want to go? Where do you want to, what's the goal? What's the vision? What's the plan? And the coaching helped me begin to see that I wasn't doing the right thing, and I was meant to help and to serve, and it helped me to figure out, well, how can I do that? What does
Absolutely.
that look like? Right? And
Absolutely.
having that plan and vision, that gave me the confidence to step away from corporate America and to bet on myself. But
Mm.
that was because of having the plan and the vision and gaining that confidence. So basically helping to not completely overcome the fear, but overcome it enough to take the first step.
Absolutely. And understanding that fear is natural. Like,
Yes.
we have these intuitions because they're there to serve us. But looking
Yes.
at fear as, is it because I'm going into a new space and
Hmm.
there's a fear of the unknown?
Right.
Or is it because I'm going into a familiar place and is the fear already previously recognized?
Right.
Like, understanding which fear it is.
Right.
Because one is to keep you safe. Well, they're
Hmm.
both to keep you safe, but one is to keep you from making the same mistake.
Right.
And the other is, it just goes with being in a new space.
Right. It's just you don't know what's going to happen, and I've had this conversation before. Fear is something that, as humans, as we evolved, the purpose was to keep you safe, like you said.
Yeah.
But The problem is we're hundreds of years later and our physiological response, it's still the same as it was if we were seeing a tiger or a bear. So we get our heart start beating, we're sweating, we're shaking. And so we think, oh my God, I'm doing the wrong thing. But you're not realizing that that's just the natural response to all fear. So now you have to have the frame of mind to say, all right, now, am I going to die? Like if I step into the unknown, am I actually going to die? Or do I just not know what's going to happen? And maybe it might be okay. So you have to say, I'm going to do this thing, even though I'm going to do this thing in spite of, I'm going to be afraid and keep doing the thing,
Yeah.
because doing the thing is going to move me forward in the direction that I want to go. And doing the thing gives you confidence, because now you're not just thinking about what it might be like. You did the thing and you
Absolutely.
didn't die. And now you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know I could do that.
I did,
And now,
and that is the reward of
yes,
moving while scared. Like it's okay
yes,
to be scared. It's okay to
yes,
be afraid. But the thing about it is you can't be allow the fright to paralyze you so that
yes.
you're stuck and then you are disgruntled and then you're stuck in, and you think, this job. I laugh when I hear people, I hate my job. And I'm like, why are you there? Don't be
That
there.
part,
You don't
that
you're free. I mean,
part.
there are for hire signs everywhere. There are
Right,
hiring signs everywhere. And so
right.
now anyone thinking about making a career change,
Hmm.
anyone thinking about getting aligned with what they do in order
Yes,
to gather money, finances, now's
right.
the perfect time to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, it's always the right time. If you, excuse me, if you are not happy, that is the indication that it is the right time. But yes, to speak, there are so many places hiring, and people, like I said, it's that fear, but you just have to get past that and realize that there's something better on the other side. There really, really is. And
Yeah.
it helps, which is why I help people with clarity, because in order, there is so much on the other side. So you taking a step, it's a better thing if you have a little bit more clarity about, well, should I step to the right or step to the left or step,
Mm.
so that entails having these conversations where we create a space to think about what you want to do. I was having this conversation with my best friend the other day, and my sister as well. And it's like, when you're at a job and this job is stressful, whether it's stressful or you work 12 hours a day or you hate it, right? Whatever it is, it consumes you in such a way that you don't even have time to think about what you want or
Hmm.
what you like. So you're on the hamster wheel, and every day you're doing the same thing, doing the same thing. You never have time to step off, or when you're off, you're tired. You got to go food shopping. You got to do laundry. You got to clean your house. There's no time to sit around and think about what I would like to do,
I
right?
know it. Yeah.
But this is the reason why I tell people, you at some point have to prioritize yourself. And this is why I'm a big proponent of coaching, because it creates a space that's just for you. It
Yeah.
creates a space. You carve out that hour or that 45 minutes, and you have that time to calm down and take a breath and think about, what does Linda want? What does Oriana want? What would make me happy? And that's the beginning of making the plan, of
Hmm.
figuring out the direction to go. You know what I tell people? Most people nowadays, you don't get in your car without popping an address into Waze or Google Maps or your GPS, right? You don't get in your car and just go. So why are we living our lives just going with your foot on the gas, with no direction and no, not serious, and no plan? This is your whole life. Why are we not taking a minute to figure out if we're moving in the direction that we want to be moving? It doesn't make sense.
Well, and the thing about it is because we haven't been conditioned to think on that level, we've
You're
pretty
right.
much been going along as life presents itself.
You're right.
And when you don't prioritize and when you don't sit yourself as the priority, and especially if you have children, right?
Yeah,
Because children quickly become the priority, as they
absolutely.
should, as they should.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so when we're in life and we're lifing and life
Yes.
is doing what it does, we don't
Right.
think about, okay, I can actually have control. I was too busy raising children. I was too busy attending parent teacher conferences and making sure they got their homework at night and making sure that no to the guidance officers that they don't need medication. Like I was in it. I was fully
Yeah.
in it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I didn't think about, I could apply for, like, in that position that I tell you that I was in corporate America. I actually was in 13 different positions at that one job.
Oh my goodness.
I was moving around and making out
Hmm.
a career path for myself,
Good for you.
because when I got where I felt like I couldn't learn anymore.
Hmm.
I was ready to move to the next level.
Right.
But everybody's not like that.
No.
Some people have to be coaxed into the next level.
Yes. Hmm.
And so, but I was career pathing long before career pathing
Yes.
was a thing. And it was because the young people behind me who saw me moving up, they were like, okay, she's doing that. Let me go talk to her. And
Yeah.
so that's why I've written over 40 resumes for different people going to different jobs
Wow.
in different places long before I left corporate America and opened my business.
Yeah.
LSMB Business Solutions first offering were resumes, because I
Yeah.
had already written them for 20 something years for people that were in corporate with me.
Right.
You When you're busy doing it, I just knew that I got to the point where I wasn't growing. I sat in my corner office on a Friday looking at Lookout Mountain and thinking, this can't be all that I'm made of.
Oh my gosh. Same.
And
Same.
this can't be all I'm made of. I'm made of more than this.
Yes.
And it was
Um,
at that point that my life completely changed as far as my career choices.
yep. Same exact thing. That's so funny. I literally was in my office with that I shared with some other coworkers, and I had just come back from a 5-day cruise. So I was back from vacation, I was tanned, I was rested, and I got at that desk and I literally said, this cannot be my life. This cannot be what I am meant to do. This cannot be what I do for the rest of my life. And it was in that moment that I was like, all right, I got to figure out my trajectory. I got to figure out how to get out of here.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, like you said, so I am a divorced single mom, right? So
Hmm.
I have my son, he's 14 now. He just started high school this week, Noah. And
Yeah.
and he's amazing. But like you said, we have responsibilities. We have kids. We have, so it was scary for me to even think, because my job, I was making over 6 figures. So this was not an easy decision to say,
Mm.
oh, I'm just going to stop getting this check and I don't know how I'm going to pay these bills and maybe Noah will be all right. It wasn't like that. It
No,
wasn't like that.
no, no, no.
But I did also realize, like you, there's got to be more. This can't be it. And if I don't start to figure out what that looks like, I felt like I was dying slowly. Really is how I
Mm.
felt. And I was like, this is not it. But a part of me, and why I like to have these conversations and why I'm doing what I do now, is because I want people to realize you can do these things. You can be a single mom. You can be divorced. You can have responsibilities and still take steps towards finding out what's the right thing for you. You
Yeah,
can move slowly. You
yeah.
don't got to jump and quit and leave your job and start something. Maybe you start a little side hustle, or maybe you
Yeah.
do something while you're making the money. The bottom line is that you just have to take a small step. You just got to begin to step in the direction of what feels good for you. You
Yeah.
don't got to leave everything, but as long as you keep moving, eventually you'll get somewhere that you want to be. But you got to start moving, right?
Absolutely. You have to start, and even if the move may be an action move, or it may be, I need to start planning, or I need to find out
Yeah,
about me,
yeah,
or I need to contact Ariana and have that conversation, right?
right,
Because
right,
you already feel like, long before I sat at that desk that Friday, long before then, I ran into spots in my career where, I could be on the corporate plane flying to Memphis and thinking, okay, what is my next move?
right.
I never got so caught up in the job that I thought that part would be permanent. Like, I was
Okay,
always on the move in the job, but I always thought that I had a place to go inside the company. I
Watch.
didn't think that one day they would come in and say, we no longer need your services.
Mm-hmm.
But it
That
did.
part.
But
Yep.
it did. And that devastated me.
Yeah.
And they, you learn that you need to take anytime you've had a long career or time with any relationship, employment included, you need
Mm-hmm.
to process what happened before
Yeah.
you move to your next thing, right?
Yeah.
But it was in that month of processing that I decided, okay, I need to repurpose these 26 years.
Uh-huh. I
And
love
that
that.
became LS&B Business Solutions,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I can't just throw those 26 years in the garbage. Like, I've
Right.
learned things, I've had experience, I have skill sets now. What do I
Yep.
do with all this knowledge I have? And
Mm-hmm.
I decided to repurpose everything I learned in order to
Mm-hmm.
help small businesses.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so that I just couldn't see just throwing in a towel and saying, "Woe is me. What am I
Right.
going to do next?" But it did make me make the determination. Okay, anytime you have yourself totally invested in
Mm-hmm.
another person's job, then
Yes.
they are also invested in your quality of life,
Okay.
and so you're one signature
Yep.
from having a very different life.
You're right about that.
Hence why I started LS&B Business Solutions, is because I never again want to be where somebody else tells me I can't build my house downtown. I never want to be where I can't drive the kind of car I want to drive. I never want to be where I can't go on the kind of trip I want to have. Like,
Right.
I took control of my financial health by opening LS&B Business Solutions while working in
Yeah.
corporate America. I
Uh-huh.
was working at a five-star hospital as a
Uh-huh.
data analyst. Like, I was working full time, but still doing my
Wow.
thing
Yep.
on nights and weekends, right?
Yes.
And then when they laid me off, that's when I
Mm-hmm.
decided, okay, we're all in now. We've
That's
been
it.
playing with it long enough.
That's it. It's so funny because the same here. I had started coaching before I left corporate America, before I started my business. So I was working from 9 to 5 and I was coaching from 6 to 10. Because, I get that you have to figure it out. We don't know if this is the right thing. I couldn't just jump from the fire, from the pot right into the fire.
Yeah,
And also, like you said, I have lots of experience. And what I find is that you do need to take what's good. Don't throw out everything. Take the parts of your job that you enjoy, that you're good at, the things that you really want, and then you add in the other things that you're passionate about, and you use that to help you to move forward. And
absolutely.
that's exactly what I'm doing now, because I wasn't coaching at my job. I wasn't talking to people and helping them, but I did data and typing and this and that all serves me now, in the space that I'm in as an entrepreneur. And the
Mhm.
other thing I agree with is, in this space now, I have decided that I will not work for anyone else again. And that's a big decision to make. And I tell you, as an entrepreneur, I've never worked as hard. I work 7 days a week. Today's Sunday. I was working this morning. I work 7 days a week, but I've also never been happier, right?
Oh, I
I
know.
have a freedom and a sense of fulfillment and a sense of purpose, and I'm building my own dream,
Yes.
and so that to me, it's worth all the work. And I'm not saying this because being an entrepreneur is not for everybody, and I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that if that's something that's in your mind, that you think that you've got something and you can do it, you need to go, you need to try, do that,
Absolutely.
do that.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and like you were saying, even if it's just a side hustle, right? Like,
Yeah.
because all of us have, who've been in the workforce for any long period of time, we
Mhm.
have skill sets that we're setting on that could be monetized
Yes.
into ensuring that, because retirement is coming, or that age of retirement, right, is coming.
Right.
And you want to get your footing back. If you have a certain standard of life, none of us want at the age of retirement for life to go to something totally different till we become in poverty stricken, because the retirement is not going to be enough. The 401k is not going to be enough. the pension, Lord only knows who gets those now, are
I
going to
know.
be, it won't be enough. So how do you maintain the quality of life that you have worked so hard to establish?
Yeah.
Is you have to think about, how can I monetize some skills? And that's what
Yes.
I'm getting ready to do. That's what the conversation yesterday was for women 51 and over, helping
Hmm.
them to think about what skill sets can you monetize, because these small businesses need back office people so bad. And
Yeah.
anybody with clerical skills, anybody with, administrative skills, like, you're in big demand out here in the small business world, because a
Yeah.
lot of business owners don't want to do it, or don't know
Mhm.
how to do it. So there's
Absolutely.
a place. So there's a transitional
Absolutely.
place. And so I'm trying to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. And I think that once you get in that space, like you said, what I find is that people, a lot of times, we don't, how would I say it? You undervalue yourself. We take for granted the things that we're good at because they come easily for us,
Yeah.
not realizing that this thing that you do like this and you don't think about it, everybody can't do that. That is a skill.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
which is why, I talk to my clients and I have to let them know, no, everybody can't do that. You can charge a lot of money for that thing that you're sitting there taking for granted. This thing that your friends come to you for and they say, hey, can you review this thing? Hey, can you fix this thing? Hey, can you help me solve this problem? That is something that people will pay you for.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you have to own it, and then you have to put it out there and tell people, this is what I do. I can help you, and this is what I charge. you know,
Exactly.
and then there's
Exactly.
that part. This is what I charge for it. And
Yeah.
don't just give it away. Don't just give it away.
And I find most of the entrepreneurs, because I deal with a lot of startups, most of them have been giving away whatever they do forever. They've been given away. And
Yeah.
I said, well, that still counts because it's proof of concept that people do want it.
Yes.
It gives proof that it may be a valid
Right.
offering, but then
Right.
understanding how to package it and understanding how to make it a viable business. That,
Honey.
that's the part where I walk. That's the part where I grab hands and say, let's
Yes.
do this. Let's do this as a viable business. Let's not do a
Yes.
hustle. Let's not do a hobby. Let's do this as a viable
Let's
business so
make
that we
this
can
a
get the
business.
benefits of it. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing I'm looking forward to. So this is
Yeah.
toward the end of our conversation. So what takeaway would you like the people who are watching now to have? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think about that and to say it. So this is me allowing you to have a conversation with your ideal client.
Wow. Well, the first thing that I want to say is I want everyone to believe in themselves enough and know that the thing that you want to do, it is possible for you, right? And to be able to get past that fear and know that you might need help, right? You might need someone to hold your hand and so you can look and get that help. And so that is what I do. So I help people with career clarity, like I was talking about with Linda. And the other thing I do is leadership development training, where I partner with companies, corporate organizations, and I help their managers to become better leaders, right? And so I just want you to know that you can have this thing, but you have to take action and you have to believe in yourself enough to prioritize what you want and then take action and find someone, like me, or it doesn't have to be me, but someone else to help you along the way, right? And yes, absolutely. I'm seeing, comments here. And for those people out there who are entrepreneurs, to realize it is time to stop playing small, stop undervaluing yourself and the services that you bring to other people. That there's a part about being an entrepreneur where you're helping and you're serving, but as an entrepreneur, it's also a business, and business is business. If you don't charge for your services, your business is going to fail. And I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you that, but if you don't value yourself enough to charge, it's not a business. It's a hobby. It's something that you like to do. So if you are stepping out into that space, you need to charge, and you may need help with figuring out how to charge, how to market, all of those things. And I because I'm in that space personally, I am able to help people with that as well. So I think more than anything, you know, I tell people I'm that person that believes in your dreams. That's why my company is called Dream Big Create. Really, it's short for Dream Big Create Your Reality. I'm that person who is going to believe the thing that you say that you want to do. You're gonna tell me I want to fly to Mars, and I'm gonna say, okay, well, how are we gonna do that? You got a pilot, the astronaut's license, no, we're gonna figure this out. I'm that person who's not gonna laugh at you, and I'm gonna say, how are we gonna do this thing? That's where I sit with people, with my clients, and I love it. I love helping people achieve their goals and their dreams and feeling more fulfilled in their lives, because you can't give to anyone else fully in your life if your cup is empty. And we prioritize everybody else, but you really have to begin to prioritize your own happiness. And I want to help
Absolutely.
you do that. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And so to connect with her,
Yep.
click wherever you're watching this. Her information is there for you to connect with her. And my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. And I just plugged you into the Dream Big and Create over here with
Got
Ariana
it.
Walker. So thank you all for joining us this week. And thank you, Pam, for joining us. Pam is
Yes, thank you,
buddy.
Pam.
Pam and I have been in spaces for a few years now. So yeah,
I
so
love
thank you, Pam. Please reach out to her. Um, we will see you next Sunday, 7
it.
o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on the Business Plugs Mixer. Until that time, you all have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.